We're going to kick things off here with topic number one. And we've talked about this guy so much. He's having such a great year here in baseball. He's a story of the baseball season. That's Shohei Ohtani. He's now got 39 homers, so he's going to be the first to 40 unless something happens. Brandon, what do you think about Shohei Ohtani getting close to 40 home runs? We got 40 games left in the season.
Wow, that's amazing. You answered one of my questions that I wasn't even going to ask you, was being like, how many games do we have left? Because I honestly think maybe we should be saying, is he going to hit 50 or more? Because I think with 40 games left, yeah, I think it's inevitable. He's going to be the first to 40 and he's going to get to 50. So it's just really, what number is he going to stop at? 55, 56, or 54? Who knows? But yeah, this guy has got the hottest bat in baseball right now. He's obviously leading the major leagues in home runs, and he's also leading the major leagues in MVP vote because he's the greatest, show of baseball. And it's crazy because his name's Shohei Ohtani, right? He is the greatest show in baseball right now. Everybody wants to see him. I mean, I got to think that right now the Angels are selling out tickets left and right because he is the number one show in baseball and people want to see him, whether you're a home fan of the Angels or even if you're an opposing fan, you still want to see what Shohei Ohtani is going to do on a nightly basis. And I think it's just one of those things where he doesn't disappoint. Every week he is doing something for us to be talking about and putting himself just more and more on the map for Major League Baseball. And like we've said many a times, it's good for Major League Baseball. Really, right now, he is their biggest and best superstar, and he's got a great personality, and I think he fits the mold perfectly for what the league's looking right now to basically grow the league and get more eyes on the play and grow the game, because we all know, that baseball has been suffering in viewership over the last few years and has needed something like this to bring eyes back. And Shohei Ohtani is that guy. And I mean, obviously, we've talked about him being in the field and being on the mound. And he's arguably just as good on the mound as he is in the batter box. And there's not many guys you can say that. But I don't know. I tend to lean that he's better in the box, and he's more valued as a hitter right now, hitting so many home runs and getting on base and putting himself into position to score runs as well. I think that's really where his value is right now in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, no question. You mentioned he leads major leagues with 39 home runs. He also leads the majors with a slugging percentage of .644. His OPS is over 1,000, so he's obviously killing it at the plate. You mentioned his pitching. He's 7-1 in 17 starts. His ERA is 2.93, so it's just ridiculous there. If his team was a little bit better, he probably would have a few more wins. So, yeah, I mean, Shohei's going to get to – I think he'll easily get to 50. I really do. I think he's 40 games left. That's a home run every 4 games. He'll go on a streak where he'll have, a couple of home runs, a couple of games in a row. So I think he's definitely going to get to 50. And nowadays in Major League Baseball, 50 is a lot of home runs. I mean, we got to a point, especially in the steroid era, because that's what we can call it now. There were a ton of guys getting to 50. Now, not so much. There's still a lot of good power hitters that get to 30 and even 40. But even getting to 40 is a lot. So getting to 50, I think, is going to be a huge accomplishment for him. The unfortunate part about this whole thing is that the Angels are 1 game below 500. They're in 4th place in the AL West. They're behind Houston, Oakland, and Seattle. So Houston's probably going to win the division. But Oakland's right there, and then Seattle's even ahead of the Angels. They're 11 games behind Houston, so there's no way they're going to catch Houston, and they got to leapfrog 2 other teams just to get to the wild card. So they're probably not going to be a playoff team. So you can look at it 2 ways. It's too bad that Shohei's not going to be in the postseason. It would take a miracle for that to happen. But you can also say that they're not going to rest him, for the playoffs or anything like that. So he's just going to put on a show, in the last month or so of the season. Hopefully he plays as much as possible because he hits and pitches. He's a player who you might want to get rest here and there. 1 game here, 1 game there, but hopefully they just let him go and let him do his thing throughout the rest of the season, because they're not going to have a lot to play for, and he can just go out there and do it for the fans and hope that they're a better team next year, because they're going to have this guy and Mike Trout hopefully fully healthy, and then we'll see about that after that. So it's too bad he's not going to be in the postseason. But like you mentioned, this guy's a huge show. He's the best attraction for Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the best player in baseball right now, and I think everybody knows it. And so it's just really one of those things where it's like the question is, what is he going to do next? So I think nothing surprises us at this point with what Shohei does and what he puts on the field. And he's just a great player. He's just, definitely a franchise type player that you would want on your team. And I mean, I think, yeah, inevitably he's going to get to 50. And like you said, there's going to be a point where he goes on a streak. I think there might even be a couple of games where he hits multiple home runs in the same game. So I think inevitably he definitely gets to 50. And I guess my one last thing for you is, does Houston still have trash cans in their dugout?
There are probably some trash cans in there. I don't think anybody's banging on them, but yeah, that's a good question, man. And they are continuing to get heckled to say the least in opposing ballparks, but they're still good. They still have really good players, so that hasn't changed. But yeah, there's still trash cans there.
I guess it's just one of those things. When you said they were in first place, that's the number one thing that popped in my mind. And I'm sure for many years, it's going to be popping in many of other people's minds as well if you're hearing that Houston Astros are having a good season.
Folks, if you like this show, you're watching it right now on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. That's Comeback Sports on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Comeback Sports. And then all the cut-ups that our awesome producer, Ben Kudo, puts together after the show, that'll all filter to your YouTube channel. You don't have to go search for it. It's just right there in your subscriptions.